Hello everyone, welcome to my channel at the best predict. So in today's video I'll be explaining to you the amazing strategy of scoring 3 goals in a row. Actually, this particular strategy, people are not really aware of it, and people are not really paying much focus on it. So now this particular strategy is very amazing with some odds depending on the probability of the games. Now, in this particular video, we are going to talk about how you can effectively make use of this particular market, and I'm going to explain some terms that surround it. Now, we have different types of maybe probably anything to score 3 goals or more in a row, either yes or no. So there are markets also for home team to score 3 goals in a row, either yes or no, and away team to score 3 goals in a row. I'm going to show you where the market is on Sporty Bet, right? So now I'll be clicking on one of this particular match, and I'm going to show you where the market is, and after that we will move on to how you can make use of this particular strategy effectively. There are some markets that the bookmakers are really blocking so that you won't be able to stake on it, and sometimes the market will be ridiculous that you'll be afraid of even to stake on them, because by staking on them, assuming the game lost, you'll be like, why did I stake on this particular ridiculous odd? So now let us move on to how you can do this. Now let's assume you click on the match between Inter Milan and Torino, and you click on the all selection. One thing about this particular market is that people always skip it. People skip it a lot because they don't really understand it and they don't really trust the market. Now, when you click on the all and you scroll down, did you see the first market here that says any team to score 2 or more goals in a row? Actually, this particular market means that between the home team and the away team, you say that anybody among these two can score 2 goals without interruption of other team scoring. For example, let's assume Inter were the one that first score, and they score 1-0, and after a few minutes they score another goal, which is 2-0. Let's assume that you picked yes, which means any team to score 2 goals or more in a row, and you pick yes, which is 1.868 odd. You have won the game immediately. But let's assume that Inter scored 1 goal, Torino scored again, Inter scored another goal, which is 2-1, Torino scored again, which is 2-2, and Inter scored again, which is 3-2. Your game has lost. So let's assume that you go for no. The later explanation actually worked for this. Probably maybe Inter were unable to score two two straight two straight goals directly. If they were unable to do that, that means you won your game. But actually, I don't like going for 2-0. Anything to score 2-0, no, because that is very very risky depending on the game actually. Now let us move on to the next one. So the market here says any team to score 3 or more goals in a row. So this is the market I always want to go for, or if I don't want to go for this, I always go for individual to score 3 goals, 3 or more goals in a row, which is no. I always pick no, because scoring in some games after applying some statistics and analysis on it, it will be very difficult for those teams. Now this is what happened. After using the statistics which I'm going to explain in this particular video, I always go for this particular market of anything to score 3 goals in a row. No. Check this. They said home team to score 2 or more goals in a row, which that is Inter. The odd for that is 1.91 odd. Very big odd, which means Inter must score 2 goals straight directly in a row without interruption of Torino scoring a goal before they score their 2 goals total. Now that is how the strategy works. You have so many more of it like that. Home team to score 3 or more goals in a row, away team to score 2 or more goals in a row, and the last one is away team to score 3 or more goals in a row. Now let us move on to the chapter. Let us move on to chapter of predicting this scoring 3 or more goals in a row. So if you want to predict your game, you can always go for anybody to score 3 or more goals in a row, which is no. Now these are the steps. Please kindly pay a very close attention to these steps and make sure that you are not missing any details between during this video. Now the first steps that you need to do now is that you need to look for odds that are games that you know that uh you know there are some games that the odds given to them would look so tight that there's probability that there will be this particular game will be a tough game. Now this is how you are going to recognize a very tough game. For example, the match between Cadiz and Mallorca happens to be one of the tough games that I'm currently seeing here. And checking the match between Bournemouth and Brighton, this also is one of the toughest match that I have ever seen. That will be, currently Brighton has always been in form for a while, and suddenly they've dropped in form and now seeing it. So if you want to recognize games that are very tough in nature, like you want to understand games that you can predict your 3 or more goals in a row, if you want to recognize games like that, just let's do it like this. Look for their odd and make sure that their odd is around 2 odd and 3 odd for both home or and away. For both home or and away, 2.67 odd for the home team, 3.25 odd for the away team. And same thing for Bournemouth and Brighton, 2.24 odd for the home team, 3.15 odd for the away team. Now, checking another game here too, which is Claremont Foot versus Reims. The home team is having 3.62 odd and the away team is having 2.12 odd. We have so many tough games this weekend. Actually, previous days has been a bad day. We experienced lost. I'm sure some people do. People that played home or away on some games, especially on in Premier League. Some people lost their game yesterday and day before yesterday. Last week was not really very fine, and it happens in betting. Now let me just give you a jackpot on how you can keep winning on this. Now we've selected some games that seems to be tough, and that we are expecting something that is very tough in it. Now let us start our analysis on it. So I'm going first with Cadiz versus Mallorca. Let's click on the start. Now, currently we are having our start here, and one thing that I want you guys to notice and focus on is that checking the last 5 games of the team that you want to predict. You have to check the last 5 meetings of the home team, the last 5 meetings of the away team, and also go further to check the last 5 meetings with each other. So the first step, the first segment is that you need to check in the last 5 games. They must not have any goal difference that is up to like 3 goal difference. Checking the away team also, make sure that they don't concede any goal or scored any goal. That the difference between them and their opponent is up to 3 goals. But unfortunately, we have a particular game that ended up in 4-1. It shows that there is a particular period that they scored 3 goals straight. Now, before we can conclude on that, let us check my live score app. Actually, because checking this particular game, we can't conclude if there is a particular goal difference, a long gap goal difference in it. So we have their last 5 meetings here, and checking for the home team, you can see that most of their games always ended up in 1-0, 1-1, 2-0. But there is no real 3 goals difference, like having a 3 goals difference, except this particular 2 goals difference, and probably we should be having a 2 goal difference there. So before we can conclude on maybe this particular game is not qualified to be predicted as any team to win 3 goals in a row, which is no. Let us confirm. Click on it and let's see how they score their goals. Okay, in the first half of the game they scored 2 goals. This particular game does not really qualify for any team to score 2 goals in a row, which is no. It doesn't qualify for that. Now let us check. Unfortunately, any team to score 3 goals in a row, which is no, does not really qualify in this particular match, which means we have to avoid this particular game for now, because out of the last 5 games of the home team, unfortunately one thing occurred there. Actually, the game can actually ended up in any team to score 3 goals in a row, which is no, it can actually ended up the right way with it, because checking their last 5 games, it has always been tough. Because let me show you something. These are the last 5 games they've been playing, and it has always been 1-1, 2-0, 1-0, and unfortunately we don't know what the next time will be. We are only working based on the data available now. Following the strict rules to effectively predict this particular game very well, you have to follow some steps that that will put you on the safer side. Now let us check other games if probably we are going to get something good out of them. But one thing that I also want you guys to notice is that there are some games and data under the England Premier League, because that particular league they are scoring goals, like too much of goals this particular season. So you have to avoid it, because anything can beat anything, like 4 goal difference, 5 goals difference. And in the game that we analyzed earlier, you can put it into consideration, because looking at it, we only had that particular scenario in just one match out of their last 5 games for the home team, 5 games for the away team, and 5 games for between the two teams. Now you can take that particular match as a consideration. Let us check the odd for that match, which is Cadiz and Mallorca. So the odd for the match between these two, which means any team to score 3 or more goals in a row, which is no, it is 1.08, because naturally we are not expecting even more goals naturally, because maybe probably the game should have ended up in under 3.5 goals, but maybe probably that is the reason why the odd is extremely small, as you guys are seeing it. Now let us check other games. For now I'll be avoiding the match between Brighton and Bournemouth, because checking their last 5 games, it will be too heavy for us to do that, because the score goes very well. Okay, we are checking the match between Claremont Foot and Reims, and checking the start to see what we can have there. So checking the last 5 games of the home team, most of their games always ended up in a 1-0, 1-1, and the last one that I saw here, which is 0-3, it is the only game for the home team which has 3 goal difference, that is scoring 3 goals in a row. Now checking the away game too, we don't have anything like scoring 3 goals in a row for the away team. Now let us check the last 5 games between each other. We don't have something like this too, but we are going to confirm if we have it, because the only aspect that a very big number of goals occurred is the aspect of these 2-4. Now we need to check, probably maybe the game might have ended up in 3-0 before the game later ended up in 4-2. So let us check Reims and Claremont Foot. So guys, the match we are talking about, which ended up in a 2-4, that we want to do the analysis to check if the game actually ended up in probably maybe scoring 3 goals in a row or not. Now let's see. The game ended up in 2-4, and what I'm seeing here is that the home team scored 2 goals initially before the away team also equalized by 2-2, and the game further ended up in a 4-2. So most of the thing that actually occurred in this particular game was 2 goals difference. Like scoring 2 goals in a row was the common thing that happened in this particular game. Going judging these stats and evaluating the stats, we only have scoring 3 goals in a row in just one match. That is for the home team, and that is the probability why this particular match can be put into consideration of predicting any team to score 3 goals in a row, which is no. So guys, I want you all to also go and follow this particular step. We have enough games to practice this particular strategy on. For today, you can practice this strategy on them and see the accuracy of it. Last week have been a terrible week when it's come to sports betting, but I'm sure some people also win games. But On sporty bet, it was not really fine from my own side. So guys, if you want to stake and if you want to bet, no strategy is always 100% accurate. Please kindly make sure that you bet responsibly. Make sure that you bet responsibly so that it won't affect you financially. Now guys, try this particular betting strategy and see how it works. Thanks. Have a nice day.